Good morning, Redeemer. David wrote these words in Psalm 42. These things I remember as I pour out my soul, how I would go with the throng and lead them in procession to the house of God with glad shouts and songs of praise, a multitude keeping festival. Clearly for David, the Lord's day was a day of great joy because it was a day of worship. And circumstances beyond his control prevented him from participating in worship. And he missed it desperately. You and I are obviously in the same position. Circumstances beyond our control are preventing us from being together to worship the Lord. But here's the good news. Today is still a day of great joy for you and for me because it is the day that the Lord has made, and he has given it to us as a gift. It's still a day of great joy because it is for us also a day of worship, a day where we come away and spend some time with the Lord. It's a day of good news because wherever we are, the Lord is with us. And so wherever you are right now, the Lord is present with you. And so I pray that this will be a blessed day of worship for you. I pray that it will be a day of great expectation for you. That the Lord will meet you in unexpected ways as you worship in this unexpected and even unwanted way. So let's focus on the good, the joyful, what's right, what's beautiful about this day. I wanted to share just a couple of announcements with you. We have not yet decided when we are going to reopen and worship together again. We are working on a plan where as we will ease into that process. And so certainly when we know what that plan is, when it's in place, we will let you know that plan, and we will let you know when we are going to implement it, whether that's by email or Slack or even by phone for those of you who are not connected electronically, which right now sounds awfully good to me. And that leads me to the second announcement, and that is, I know that all of us are getting really sick of computers. We're getting sick of screens. We're getting sick of our Zoom world. But I'm going to ask that we don't take that fatigue and that sickness out on our church family. Don't decide that today's the day you're going to unplug and not look at your screen anymore. We really need each other so desperately in these times. And so perhaps you can choose a different way or a different day to disconnect, and not today. So once again, I'm going to ask you, if you will, to go on Slack, go on the encouragement channel, and any way that you wish to make your presence known there, whether it's a picture or a note or just an emoji, would you do that so that we all know or have a sense that we were together in worship today? So those are all the announcements. I'm going to ask you now if you have the worship guide, which clearly you do if you've clicked on this link. If you'll take that, look at it however you're looking at it, and let's join together in our call to worship. Once again, it's a unison reading, and it's from Psalm 100. So I'm going to ask you now to join me as we read together this call to worship from Psalm 100. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing. Know that the Lord, he is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him. Bless his name. For the Lord is good. His steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations. Amen. Let's continue in worship now, wherever you are, by singing your praise to the Lord, listening for God's will, confessing sin, being assured of the forgiveness that's ours of Christ, praying for the missionaries around the world, giving to the Lord, all those things that are a normal part of our worship that you're going to be doing on your own. And when you've worked your way through the worship guide, we'll come back together again around the word of the Lord. The Lord bless your worship this morning.